Welcome to the Legally Speaking podcast. I'm your host, Rob Hanna. I'm pleased to introduce to you our Clio Con 2023 mini clips mini-series. I'm delighted to be joined by none other than the wonderful Noella Sudbury, founder and CEO of Raza Legal. Welcome to Legally Speaking podcast.
Thanks for letting me be on your podcast.
And we're tuning in, of course, from Nashville, Tennessee, Clio Con. First things first, how are you finding your Clio Con experience?
It's amazing. There's so many people here, so many innovators, so many interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, and talking of innovators, you're definitely one. We also met at the American Legal Technology Awards, where I have to say you picked up more than one. So do you mind telling people, firstly, just a little bit about your background, and then we can talk about all the amazing awards and all the great stuff you're doing when it comes to embracing tech?
Sure. So I'm a lawyer by training, started my career back in 2009 as a public defender. That's where I very quickly became passionate about criminal justice reform. I just felt like I was a great lawyer working in a very broken system that was not taking into account a lot of the needs that my clients had. And then some of my clients would get well and get themselves out of the justice system and just run into a brick wall when they tried to rent an apartment or get a job. And that's how I got so passionate about criminal record expungement, which is what I do now.
Yeah, so that leads nicely on. Tell us more about your company and what you're getting up to and, the problem you're solving in the world.
Yeah, so Raza Legal is an early stage tech startup with the mission to make the process of clearing a criminal record simple and affordable for everyone who needs it.
I love that. And it's great how you can deliver that in a sentence. It's really defined in terms of what you're trying to do. So let's talk about technology, because you do use Clio. You're a fan of Clio. Why do you use Clio and what do you like about it? And then there's a third question. How's that helped you grow as not only a sort of legal professional, but also your startup?
Yeah, so Clio, I think, is a great solution for any entrepreneur who's starting new and just wants to automate a lot of things about the practice of law that are time consuming, getting agreements out and signed, billing, process management. And as two lawyers, when we were starting Raza, we wanted to have all of those advantages so that we could focus our time on serving our clients and have our technology do everything else.
Good. And through using Clio, has that helped you in terms of a lot of productivity? And then tell us about some of these awards you've been picking up.
Yeah, definitely helps us be more productive. A friend of mine once said that you should automate everything that doesn't require judgment or creativity. And Clio does a lot of those things. And I'm excited to hear at the conference that they're looking at even more automation and so responsive to the people who use Clio about different improvements that we want to see made to Clio going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about it, because literally I've been following your journey since we got connected through also a legacy member of the Legally Speaking podcast community and also fellow guest, MC Sangela, who's a great friend of mine in legal world. I know you as well. You're just picking up awards everywhere. So what are you picking up all these awards for? Tell people more, because it's a fantastic achievement what you're doing.
Yeah, so at the American Legal Technology Awards last night, we were nominated for 2 categories. So I was nominated in an individual capacity for my work on access to justice, both in Utah and around the country. And then Raza was nominated and won Best Legal Tech Startup of the Year.
How about that? And then also, during Jack Newton's keynote speech, I saw your face pop up once again. Tell people more about that.
Yes, so we've been selected as a Reisman Award winner from Clio, which is an award given to Clio clients and more specifically for legal innovation.
Good. And so where do you see Raza Legal going? Like, what's the future roadmap? It's clear that you're very sort of focused on tech. You're clear on finding and solving a problem to the solution that you've mentioned you're passionate about. Where do you see sort of by next Clio Con in the future years, Raza being and yourself being?
So Raza's still pretty new. We're 2 years old. And in our first year with our technology, we were able to serve more than 10,000 people across the state of Utah. We are only in Utah now, so by next Clio Con, I hope that we are in at least 2 additional markets. That's my goal for this next year. We're on our way to Arizona, launching services there in December, and after the new year, looking for more growth, maybe even beyond the United States.
Okay, I'm a big believer in also being open and vulnerable because it can help others. What are going to be some of the challenges with that? And what have been some of the challenges for you as a startup? Because I really want to encourage more legal people, everyone to get into entrepreneurship, but it's not easy, right? So what have been some of the challenges getting to where you are now and where you're kind of looking to go moving forwards?
Yeah, lots of challenges in legal tech. Unfortunately, it's a lot of weedy work. Regulation continues to be a challenge as a startup because we're in Utah, which has taken advantage of this. We've taken advantage of the Utah Regulatory Sandbox program, which allows us to be owned by non-lawyers. That's really important for startups because tech is expensive, tech is the future, and requires a lot of capital. But that's going to be a challenge for innovators outside of areas where these rules are still in place. Government data is a challenge. The government is a challenge, right? Data is all over the place, often controlled by municipalities. And of course, to scale a product like ours, we need to collect all of those court records. Different laws, different forms, different processes, different names for crimes across jurisdictions. So it's just an incredible amount of work. I do wish the law was more standardized across the country, but I also see it as a huge opportunity if you're willing to get into the weeds and really do the work to make the law work for people.
I love that. I love that. And sort of as we look to close, what's one piece of advice you would give to somebody if they're thinking of starting up their own legal tech venture? What's one piece you wish you knew before you started?
That's a good question. I would say, learn about startups.
Yeah.
And
how would you suggest someone goes about doing that? Maybe come something like this?
Yes, absolutely. Listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
I think there's some great podcasts out there actually on startups, and podcasts are becoming a more popular way to just consume information, to learn about different things. And so I think that's a great resource. I think Y Combinator is a great resource. They have a number of videos, a great library. Talk to other founders, talk to people who've done it, and try and put a pitch deck together and pitch it to some of your friends and get some feedback. And I guess the only other piece of advice I'd offer is it's tough. So it can be really ego bruising at times. Just always take critiques as an opportunity to learn and just keep doing the work.
Keep doing the work. And if people want to follow you or get in touch with you, how can they do so? Feel free to shout out any social media or any websites, and we'll share them also with the community too.
We're on all the social medias. So I'm on LinkedIn. Rasa-Legal is on X, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. Would love for you to follow us there. Look forward to connecting with you.
We look forward to sharing this episode as well. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure meeting you all the way in Nashville, Tennessee at Clio Con. I can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, over and out.